patterns and signals are the subtle but powerful clues that help us recognize when someone in our life may not be who they appear to be. These signs are often hidden beneath the surface, camouflaged by the complexity of human behavior. However, if we learn to pay attention, we can discern patterns of deception, manipulation, or disingenuousness. The challenge, however, is that these signals are not always loud or obvious. They don't always present themselves in an immediate or dramatic way. Instead, they tend to reveal themselves over time in small, seemingly insignificant moments that, when looked at as a whole, paint a picture of a person's true nature. Understanding and recognizing these patterns can be the difference between maintaining genuine relationships and being misled by those who wear masks. One of the most telling patterns of a fake person is inconsistency. A person who says one thing and does another is offering a clear signal that their actions do not align with their words. Over time, you begin to notice that their promises are empty or their assurances lack substance. They may tell you how much they care, but their actions suggest otherwise. They may present themselves as trustworthy, yet their behavior consistently betrays that trust. In these cases, the gap between their words and actions is a key signal that something is amiss. A genuine person's actions will always align with their words, even if they fail in other areas, because their integrity is grounded in a sense of authenticity. The person who wears a mask, however, will struggle to maintain consistency because their true intentions are at odds with the persona they are trying to project. Another important signal is the absence of empathy or emotional depth. Fake people often have a shallow emotional range. They might appear charming and likable on the surface, but when it comes time to genuinely connect with others or offer support during difficult moments, they fall short. Their responses are often calculated and their empathy feels forced or performative. They might offer sympathy in the moment, but there is little follow-through when it comes to emotional support. Genuine individuals, on the other hand, are attuned to the feelings of others, and their emotional responses are sincere and deeply felt. They are able to connect with others, not just intellectually, but emotionally. The lack of this emotional connection in relationships can be a strong indication that someone is not being authentic. Fake people may also exhibit patterns of manipulation. This could be through guilt tripping, playing the victim, or making everything about themselves. Manipulators often create scenarios where they position themselves as the one who needs help or validation, while subtly making others feel responsible for their emotional well-being. They might constantly need reassurance or seek attention at the expense of others, often to the point of draining the emotional energy of those around them. These patterns of manipulation often go unnoticed at first, especially when they are masked by charm or vulnerability. Over time, however, the repetition of these patterns becomes undeniable. You begin to notice that conversations with them always seem to revolve around their needs and desires, and any effort to focus on your own feelings or experiences is met with resistance or defensiveness. Another critical pattern to look out for is the tendency to avoid accountability. Fake people will often shift blame onto others, deny responsibility, or deflect when confronted with their mistakes. They may present themselves as perfect or as the victim of circumstances, never acknowledging their role in a situation. This lack of accountability creates an atmosphere of distrust, as it becomes evident that they are unwilling to own up to their actions. In relationships, this pattern can be particularly damaging because it prevents growth and understanding. A genuine person is able to reflect on their actions and apologize when necessary, while a person wearing a mask will deflect, deny, or justify their behavior, making it difficult to resolve conflict and move forward. Additionally, a fake person may exhibit an over-attachment to superficiality. Their relationships, actions, and interests often revolve around surface-level concerns such as appearance, status, or material wealth. They may place great emphasis on how things look rather than how they truly are. This obsession with external validation can signal a lack of depth or authenticity. Genuine individuals are concerned with meaningful connections and substantive qualities such as integrity, kindness, and respect. While they may enjoy material things or take pride in their appearance, these things are not the primary focus of their lives. Fake people, however, often construct their entire identity around what others see on the outside, and their relationships are often built on these superficial foundations. The way a person responds to criticism is another signal of inauthenticity. Fake people often react defensively or aggressively when confronted with anything negative about their behavior. They may resort to attacking the messenger, dismissing the criticism, or completely shutting down in response. They are unable to process feedback in a constructive way because their mask is fragile and cannot withstand the pressure of truth. This defensiveness is a clear indication that they are more concerned with protecting their image than with genuinely improving themselves or being open to growth. On the other hand, a genuine person will take criticism to heart, reflect on it, and use it as an opportunity for self-improvement. They are able to engage in self-reflection without feeling threatened because they are grounded in their true identity. Finally, one of the most powerful signals of a fake person is a lack of consistency in their relationships. A person who wears a mask often has a string of broken relationships behind them, or they struggle to maintain long-term connections. This is because their false persona creates a barrier to genuine connection. They may easily attract people initially, but over time, the cracks in their facade become too obvious to ignore. They may have trouble maintaining healthy, stable relationships because they are not able to be their true selves. Genuine people, however, form lasting relationships based on trust, honesty, and mutual respect. Their connections are built on shared experiences and a deep understanding of each other's true nature, not on surface-level compatibility or convenience. Recognizing these patterns and signals is crucial in protecting yourself from being misled by fake people. They may not always be immediately apparent, but with time and attention, these clues will reveal themselves. The more you become attuned to these signs, the better equipped you will be to navigate relationships with discernment and wisdom. This ability to read the subtle signals can ultimately help you build authentic, meaningful connections and avoid the harm that comes from being deceived by false personas. God's guidance in revealing the truth about the people in our lives is one of the most profound aspects of spiritual growth and personal development. While we may not always be aware of it, God is constantly working in the background, offering subtle signs and prompting us to pay attention to the deeper truths that lie beneath the surface. His role in this process is not always dramatic or overt. It's often a quiet, persistent whisper that encourages us to trust our intuition, discern the motives of others, and ultimately see beyond the facades they present. This guidance, though sometimes difficult to recognize in the moment, is a gift that protects us from harm and helps us align with the deeper truths of who we are meant to be. The key to understanding this divine guidance is recognizing that it doesn't always come in the form of direct communication or instant clarity. Rather, it often comes through the experiences and relationships we encounter in our lives. When we experience moments of confusion, disappointment, or even betrayal, it is easy to overlook the deeper lesson that God may be trying to impart. But the truth is, these moments are often the very ones in which we are most likely to see God's hand at work. God does not merely reveal fake people in our lives to hurt us or leave us vulnerable. Instead, He does so to help us grow in discernment and wisdom. Through these experiences, we are taught how to trust our instincts, how to read the subtle signs that others are not being truthful, and how to protect ourselves from those who would lead us astray. In many ways, God uses our circumstances to guide us towards the truth. The people we meet, the relationships we form, and the challenges we face all serve as opportunities for growth. These experiences test our capacity for patience, understanding, and trust. They also provide us with the chance to refine our ability to perceive the truth. In moments of conflict or confusion, God often provides us with the tools to discern who is truly for us and who is not. It might be a sudden realization, a small detail that we didn't notice before, or a sense of discomfort that we can't shake off. These are the signs that God is offering us to reveal the true nature of those around us. The more attuned we are to these signs, the more clearly we can distinguish between those who are authentic and those who are not. One of the most powerful ways that God reveals the truth to us is through the quiet voice of our conscience. Our conscience is often the mechanism through which God communicates His guidance. It is that inner sense of right and wrong, of peace and unrest, that directs our decisions and interactions. When we feel uneasy about someone or something, it is often God's way of nudging us to take a closer look. The discomfort we feel in the presence of fake people is not just a random feeling, it is a divine prompt urging us to proceed with caution. Learning to listen to and trust our conscience is one of the most essential aspects of spiritual growth. It requires us to be open to the possibility that we may not always be able to explain our feelings logically, but we can trust that they are rooted in a deeper truth that God is revealing to us. God also uses the people in our lives to help us see the truth about others. Sometimes the people we trust most serve as mirrors, reflecting back to us the truths we might not be ready to see on our own. They might offer us feedback that challenges our perceptions, or shed light on things we have been unwilling to acknowledge. These moments can be uncomfortable, but they are often necessary for our personal and spiritual growth. God uses the relationships we have, whether with friends, family, or colleagues, to help us refine our ability to discern the authenticity of others. When we are willing to be honest with ourselves and open to the perspectives of others, we create the space for God to work in our lives. Moreover, God's guidance is not limited to direct experiences with others. He also reveals truth through the scriptures, prayer, and moments of quiet reflection. In times of uncertainty, when we are unsure of who we can trust or where to turn, the Bible offers wisdom and clarity that can shed light on our situation. The stories of those who have walked before us, people who have faced betrayal, deception, and manipulation, serve as powerful reminders that God is always present, guiding us through even the most difficult of circumstances. In moments of prayer, we invite God to speak into our hearts, to show us the truth, and to give us the wisdom to see beyond the surface level of people's behavior. It is through this prayerful connection that we align ourselves with God's will and open ourselves to His revelation. In recognizing God's guidance in revealing fake people, we also learn to embrace the concept of divine timing. There are moments when God reveals the truth about someone immediately, and there are moments when He allows the deception to continue for a time. The key is understanding that God's timing is perfect, and that even in situations where we may feel deceived or betrayed, there is a greater plan at work. Sometimes God allows us to experience the consequences of trusting fake people in order to teach us valuable lessons about trust, discernment, and the importance of relying on Him for guidance. It is through these lessons that we become stronger, wiser, and more capable of seeing the truth when it is revealed to us. Ultimately, God's guidance is not just about exposing the fakeness of others. It is about helping us grow in our own ability to discern, to trust, and to remain faithful in the face of deception. When we open ourselves to His guidance, we align ourselves with a deeper truth that goes beyond our human understanding and connects us to something far greater. Now, I want you to consider something deeply profound. There's a question, one that many people avoid or at least fail to confront directly, and that is this: how does God reveal the truth to us? And more specifically, how does He reveal the fake people in our lives? God reveals the true nature of people through moments of clarity and wisdom. And these moments are often subtle, almost imperceptible at first. There are instances in our lives when we feel a sense of discomfort, a slight unease that we can't quite pinpoint. It's as if something is not quite right. Even though outwardly everything seems normal, these feelings of doubt and discomfort aren't random. They're often God's way of guiding us, pointing us toward deeper truths that we may not want to face. It is in these moments of clarity that God opens our eyes, revealing the truth about those around us, allowing us to see beyond the surface. We live in a world where appearances are often everything, where people wear masks that hide their true intentions. At times, it feels as though everyone is playing a role, and we are left wondering who we can trust. In these moments, it is essential to understand that God does not leave us blind or unaware. Instead, He offers us glimpses of the truth through our inner wisdom, those feelings of intuition or gut reactions that guide us to see beyond the facade. This is a form of divine discernment, one that comes when we least expect it, but is always present when we need it most. The difficulty lies in our willingness to trust these revelations. We often suppress our instincts, choosing instead to maintain our relationships or ignore our discomforts to avoid confrontation. It's easier to live in denial, to ignore the subtle signals that God has placed in our hearts, because facing the truth often requires us to take action. It demands that we stand firm in our beliefs, confront uncomfortable truths, and make decisions that may alienate others or disrupt the status quo. But God doesn't reveal these truths to us for the sake of causing harm or discomfort. He does so because he wants us to grow. In the process of revealing the true nature of those around us, God often gives us the wisdom to see beyond their words and actions. It is easy to be deceived by what people say, to be swept away by their charm, their charisma, or their promises. But God helps us look deeper, beneath the surface, to discern their true motives. This wisdom doesn't always come in grand, dramatic moments. Sometimes it is a quiet whisper, a soft reminder that something doesn't add up. It might be a fleeting thought, a piece of information that doesn't seem to fit, or a behavior that doesn't align with what we've been told. These small signs are God's way of helping us see the bigger picture. God also uses our experiences and past mistakes to sharpen our ability to discern. Through the trials we face, the betrayals we endure, and the relationships that falter, we learn. With each hardship, God is teaching us how to recognize the signs of insincerity, manipulation, and deceit. We become more adept at reading people, not just through their words, but through their energy, their consistency, and their actions. We begin to understand that true character is revealed over time. And it is through observation and experience that we begin to see who people really are. The more we learn to trust our intuition and the wisdom God provides, the clearer the picture becomes. But it's important to note that this discernment doesn't come all at once. It is a gradual process, one that requires patience, humility, and self-awareness. We may not always be ready to face the truth when it's first revealed to us. Sometimes we may even resist it, convincing ourselves that our perception is flawed or that we are overreacting. But God's wisdom doesn't force itself upon us. It patiently waits for us to recognize it and to embrace it. The more we practice trusting in this wisdom, the clearer it becomes, and the more we will understand the true nature of those around us. In moments of clarity, when God reveals the truth about people, it is often accompanied by a sense of peace. This peace isn't necessarily about feeling comfortable with the truth, but rather a deep understanding that what is being shown is right. Even if the revelation is difficult to accept, there is a sense of alignment with the divine will, a knowing that God is guiding us toward what is best for us. This sense of peace helps us find the strength to make difficult decisions, to distance ourselves from toxic relationships, and to protect our integrity. Ultimately, divine discernment is about learning to trust the wisdom that God has placed within us. It's about learning to listen to the quiet voice that guides us, even when the world around us is noisy and filled with distractions. When we heed these moments of clarity, we are not just being shown who others truly are, we are being shown who we are meant to be. We are being reminded of the importance of authenticity, of integrity, and of the need to surround ourselves with people who will lift us up, not tear us down. Through God's wisdom, we learn to navigate the complexities of human relationships, to recognize the fakes, and to embrace the truth of who we are and who we are meant to become.